Hi everyone, Mike Mal here. This is a topic I'm very passionate about, so I'd like to apologize in advance for my foul language. And of course, not to mention, just saying. Okay, let's talk about universal healthcare, sometimes called healthcare for all. First of all the negative crap you heard about is all bullshit. Now, don't just go changing the video, listen to what the other side has to say. And you're just going to have to believe me when I tell you that I'm not coming at this particular issue with a political slant, left or right. I'm seriously not. You see, healthcare is as important as schooling, and nobody complains about universal schooling from kindergarten to grade 12. It's not a left or right issue. It's a human issue. I'm genuinely speaking in a friendship format. This is too important of a subject to be bogged down by politics. For those of you that know me, I have a tremendous amount of family and consequently a tremendous amount of friends stateside. So this is a very important subject to me. Consider this rant as though coming from your Canadian cousin who sincerely cares. And you need to be open-minded about this because you are being lied to. Let's get real here. The insurance companies don't stand to lose a wee bit of money here. No. They stand to lose a colossal amount. Stupendous. A shit ton of money. Several insurance companies will shut down entirely. So, of course they're going to lie to you. Think about it. They're trying to save their stock options and Christmas bonuses and their very jobs. Now, you can't blame them for that, except that they're doing it at the expense of the American people. And you know how they're getting away with it? By banking on you believing their blatant lies. They're spreading these lies and creating redundant and superficial debates. What I mean by that is like this. Supposing you're watching some kind of an official debate, and the subject of the debate is whether it's beneficial to consume rat poison. That's not only redundant and superficial, but we all know it's ridiculously stupid. But why is it ridiculously stupid? What's the fundamental answer as to why it's ridiculously stupid? It's because we already know the answer. Incidentally, it's really bad for you. Don't try it. We know it clearly and all too well. The same applies here. They're trying to make seemingly good debate arguments like it will destroy the economy or the government will eventually pick your doctor for you. And by the way, I will address every one of these nonsensical, overwhelmingly stupid lies they tell you momentarily. But they make these arguments to an answer we already know. The entire developed world, with the exception of America, has universal health care already. The answers to these nuggets of nonsense have already been answered. So let me address what I found to be the 6 biggest of these nonsensical, stupid lies that they feed to the American populace in hopes of duping you. The 6 biggest lies that the healthcare lobbyists first sell to your politicians, and then it propagates from there until it finally reaches you. Note that these are very believable lies, and I am going to expose them. And if you watch to the end, you will see in no unclear terms that they are definitely lying to you. Probably the biggest of these deceptive falsehoods goes something like this.
The country simply cannot withstand that kind of expense, and ultimately it will lead to economic collapse.
No, that's unadulterated, consummate bullshit. They're so lying to you. As we've already stated, healthcare for all is being practiced by every developed nation in the world outside the U.S. and for a great many years now. And not a single one of these economies is being destroyed by it. Not one of these countries has a group of people that are trying to overthrow universal healthcare and bring in the American system. Do you have any idea how silly that sounds? It's something that could never happen. The fact is, a government of free enterprise democratically elected, like the United States, is always a consumer-based economy, like the United States. And in a consumer-based economy, it has been proven over and over again, and you don't need to prove it, it's just common sense, that a healthier society with far less stress for their health, combined with far less bankruptcies, equals a lot more people spending a lot more money. The results are more prosperous and, of course, a happier society. But Mal, what about all the long lineup in the emergency departments of these countries? I heard that people wait for hours and hours. Jesus Christ, they're lying to you, man. Now, this is one very crafty lie, I'll give them that, but a lie nonetheless. I read all the articles promoting this dishonesty. What they do is they supply you information from emergency departments of large metropolises. For example, whenever they look at Canada, they always focus on Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto, Canada's 3 biggest cities. For perspective, in the case of Toronto, it is roughly the same size as Chicago. And this is the data they use. So misleading and so deceiving. You can't go to any big city anywhere in the entire world on a Saturday night with a broken arm and expect to be treated anytime soon. It's called a bottleneck, and it happens in every city on earth, including America. No hospital can have that many doctors on staff. That's entirely illogical. Okay, but my great aunt's ex-husband's former roommate's cousin knows a Canadian that needed hip replacement surgery, and she waited 5 months for it. And it's like, I don't believe what I'm hearing. The fact that so many people use this argument shows just how low these lobbyists will stoop in order to manipulate, boondoggle, and ultimately the American public. Look, surgery is similar to the emergency department of a hospital in the sense that it's done on a triage system. In other words, it's of greater urgency will get treated first. Now let me ask you something. Supposing you're in the emergency department with a broken arm, and you've been waiting for several hours. Then when it comes up to your turn, suddenly a man is rushed in by ambulance with cardiac arrest, a freaking heart attack, and you get bumped while they struggle to save this man's life. Would you get up and start hollering, "Hey, but it's my turn"? No, of course not. Unless you're some kind of psychopath, you'll be understanding. Why? Because the human being inside you doesn't want to see a man die. The exact same thing applies here. Yes, in the United States, you can get elective surgery far more quickly if you have the high-end insurance or the money, but at what cost to the public? At the cost of other people's suffering and even deaths. And don't tell me this isn't true. America is no different than anywhere else on Earth that there's a shortage of doctors and even greater shortage of surgeons. Quite simply, there aren't enough surgeons to handle all surgeries quickly. It's a simple math thing. In a system of healthcare for all, surgeries are done, like we said, on a triage basis. So if there's an emergency, like say a burst appendix, it will be treated immediately. And probably somebody like your Canadian friend who needs a hip replacement will get bounced. Not only is universal healthcare more fair, it's far more moral. A human being is a human being. The insurance companies don't see it that way, and their only interest is to make more money. So they lie, and continue to lie to American politicians and its people. But Mal, won't this lead to the government choosing my doctor for me? When I first heard this, I was watching a news program of a small town hall somewhere in America where people were raging against Obamacare. The woman at the microphone said this will eventually lead to universal health care and, quote-unquote, the government choosing my doctor for me. After about 15 seconds of the proverbial stunned face, I thought to myself, are you kidding me? Are there people in America who actually believe such poppycock? I mean, have you forgotten about the whole democracy thing, lady? Think about it. What would happen if the House ever tried to introduce such a bill that the government chooses your doctor for you? It'd be the most hated bill in, the history of ever. And what politician would ever possibly vote for such a ridiculous bill? On top of that, what the hell would be their motive? They would do this for what reason exactly? Are we living in fantasy land here? And according to whom did you get this information to begin with? According to the immoral insurance industry lobbyists again? Because I can guarantee that that's ground zero for such a foolish conspiracy theory. Because see, that's not the data from the entire rest of the world. Look, I live in the country that is often considered the strictest healthcare system of any developed country in the world, Canada. Our healthcare system is so socialized that it's been compared to Cuba. And if I want a doctor, I can what? Google it? But I'll probably do the same thing you would, which is ask a friend for a reference. And this is in the strictest system in the developed world. To tell the American people that healthcare for all will eventually lead to the government choosing your doctor for you is called scaremongering. They're scaremongering you with these outrageous lies that have no basis in objective reality whatsoever. Don't fall for it. But won't my taxes go up? See, no funny face for this one, because your taxes will probably go up, but you're still being deceived. You see, insurance company lobbyists will always tell you that your taxes will go up, but leaving it at that is once again scaremongering. Because here's the thing, while switching to a universal healthcare system means your taxes will likely go up, the crucial point is how much money is left in your pocket. What are the actual numbers? And make no mistake about it, the numbers are very much in your favor. Once again, let's compare Canada and the US. Both countries spend a lot of money on healthcare. The private insurance system in the US means that everyone pays a premium, which you would no longer have to pay. And yes, the premiums are effectively more than the rise in taxes. And there's a very simple reason for that. Because the premiums that Americans are paying for now are unnecessarily overinflated. How so? Well, it's like this. There are two expenses in the private system that need not be there, and that is insurance companies' profit margins and the bloated costs of pharmaceuticals. Many Americans don't know this, but the cost of drugs in the United States is blown way out of proportion compared to the rest of the world. For the exact same drug, manufactured by the exact same company. We're talking about the same packaging and everything. You see, for the rest of the world, the pharmaceutical companies have one central person to deal with, the government. The US, however, lacks a central system for negotiating drug prices, giving pharmaceutical companies more leverage to set prices. And this is demonstrably true. For example, consider the EpiPen for allergy sufferers. Canada pays about $260, and that's Canadian dollars. Incidentally, the company is still profiting handsomely at that price. The US, for the exact same product manufactured by the exact same company, pays in excess of $600 and sometimes up to $700. And these are US dollars. So yeah, your taxes will likely go up, but you'll have more money in your pocket. And you'll also have the invaluable commodity of peace of mind. I can't even begin to explain to you guys how beautiful that is. People don't go bankrupt over medical bills, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing that you will be treated no matter what, fully covered, regardless of what happens or your income or health status or anything. You will be treated. It's also important to note that with the universal system, when people have ailments, they visit the doctor much sooner than they would normally if it's no out-of-pocket expense, which leads to better preventative care and saves money in the long run, avoiding expensive treatments later on. And it would save a lot of lives. Do I need to sell anybody here on what it means to get diagnosed cancer sooner than later? And now, the most deceitful, fallacious, and misleading underhanded lie of all goes something like this.
Capitalism is what got us the high-end healthcare that we have, and it's a competition for the almighty dollar that continues to make it better.
Can you spot the deception here? And it's a little hard to see at first, but it's literally hiding in plain sight. You see, this statement in and of itself is not a lie. That's right, I said it, it's not a lie. Capitalism and competition for the almighty dollar is what gives us the high-end healthcare that we relish. In fact, capitalism is responsible for all the luxuries, comforts, technologies, longevity of life, and so on that we enjoy today. Now, capitalism isn't regulated by an educated democracy. That's another story for another video. So if this statement is true, you're asking, where's the deceit? The deceit is that it doesn't apply here. They're trying to brain you, man. Look at it this way. You go to the hospital. Afterwards, a bill comes in. A, you pay for it, or B, an insurance company pays for it, or C, the government pays for it. Now I ask you, what the hell difference is that going to make on capitalism? Competition for the almighty dollar is still strong. Nothing's changed. The pharmaceutical companies still compete and get paid. The biotech companies still compete and get paid. Everyone still gets paid, and the capitalist system stays strong. The doctors still get paid, nurses, porters, friggin' janitors, they all still get paid just the same. In fact, when you consider that 1/3 of all American bankruptcies are due to healthcare bills, then it's the complete opposite. If anything, it helps capitalism. If there was any truth to this humongous, steaming pile of bullshit, then one has to ask, how are there huge pharmaceutical companies in countries like Denmark and Switzerland? How is it that Canada hosts the world leader lab in diabetes, Connaught Labs, now owned by a French company? Why are there so many successful pharmaceutical and biotech companies in all of these supposed socialist countries? In fact, this whole capitalism shtick is such an obvious lie. It's so clearly and distinctly a perversion of the truth that it overwhelmingly exposes these insurance company lobbyists' attempts to bamboozle the American people. They know universal health care will in no way interfere with capitalism, yet they spin it like it would. They sell this well-spun lie to your politicians, and in turn, they sell it to you. Make no mistake about it. Each and every one of these lobbyists, each and every one of these executives of these insurance companies knows all this all too well, but they continue to lie, and lie. They're trying to pull the wool over America's eyes by convincing your politicians these blatant lies, who in turn try to convince you. They lie despite knowing full well what's best for the people as a whole. They're more concerned with lining their own pockets rather than what is good and moral for the entire nation. And how they're getting away with you believing their lies is based on something that Americans have been guilty of for generations: not looking at the world around you. Well, it's time, America. It's time to look at the world around you, because you are being deceived. They're duping you for their own benefit, and those benefits reap profit margins that are excessively obscene. Everyone has the right to profit, but excessively obscene margins, and that in healthcare? Don't fall for their fallacious words. Don't be hoodwinked by them. Their deception, dishonesty, deceit. These are very persuasive lies, yes, but they're lies nonetheless. The debate on whether universal health care is beneficial to a nation of people is long over. A healthier society, a society less stressed about their health, and a society with far less bankruptcies equals a far more prosperous country with a far happier population. And since America is a republic that is democratically elected, I sure hope that many will remember this the next time you vote. Thanks for putting up with me, my fellow apes. Rant officially over. Until next time, stay loving, stay skeptical.